Hi guys! Today we're going to be learning how to make a pocket frog. Isn't he cute? Oh my goodness. Perfect little pocket frog. What you're going to need for this project is we're going to be using Yarn Bee, Cozy Occasion Deep Sage. It's a 5.5 ounce yarn. You can use Bernat blanket yarn. You can use anything that's comparable to this in weight. But this is what we're using today. You're also going to need a stitch marker, something to count with. You could use a piece of paper if you have a counter. Counters work great. I love these. This one's purchased at Hobby Lobby. We're going to be using a J hook. That's a 5.75 millimeter hook. You're going to need a pair of scissors, and you're going to need a yarn needle. All right. If you're somebody who works better with a written pattern, the pattern can be purchased at www.purlswithcarrie.com so that you can have a printed pattern. All right. In the meantime, you're welcome to do this crochet along free of charge. No purchase necessary. And let's get started. We're going to start with a magic ring of 8 single crochet. In the event that you have stitches that you're not familiar with in this pattern as we go, if you scroll through my videos, you will find a tutorial for each of the different stitches, from single crochet to magic ring to the bobble stitch and decreases. All right, here we go. Magic ring of 8 single crochet is how we're going to start this out. All right, pull it a little bit. All right, here we go. 1, 2, and if at any time I go too fast or too slow during this video, you can speed it up and slow it down on YouTube. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, we're going to pull this taut, and we're going to go through that first stitch, and we're going to slip stitch in, making our magic ring complete. Next, we're going to hit our button because that's round 1. Next, we're going to do an increase, which is 2 single crochet in each stitch all the way around for a total of 16 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. All right, we're going to hit our button, move our stitch marker over. Next, we're going to do 1 single crochet and then an increase all the way around for a total of 24 stitches. 1, increase, 2, 3, single crochet, 4, increase, 5, 6, single crochet, 7, increase, 8, 9, single crochet, 10, increase, 11, 12, single crochet, 13, increase, 14, 15, single crochet, 16, increase, 17, 18, single crochet, 19, increase, 20, 21, single crochet, 22, increase, 23, and 24. All right, we're going to hit that button. Moving on to round 4, we're going to single crochet 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're going to bobble stitch. Oops. Sorry, my yarn is running away with itself. We hit a snafu. There we go. Sorry about that. Now we're going to bobble stitch. For the first one, we're going to do it together just so that if somebody's still learning, they can kind of get a refresher. So yarn over, go through your next stitch, grab your working yarn and pull it through. Yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1. Yarn over, go through that same stitch, grab your working yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 2. We're doing a total of 5. Yarn over, put it in the same stitch, grab your working yarn, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 3. And if you ever lose track of where you're at on these bobble stitches, you'll have your original loop, and then you'll have 1 for each one that you've done. So far we've done 3. We have 4 loops on our hook. So that's the original loop plus 3. We need 2 more. Yarn over, go in that exact same stitch, grab your working yarn, pull it through, yarn over, go through 2. 1 more. Yarn over, in through that same stitch, grab your working yarn, pull it through, yarn over, go through 2. Now you should have 6 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 6. That's it. That's your bobble stitch. Now we're going to single crochet 2. 1, 2. And now we're going to bobble stitch again. All right. Into that next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull through 2. All right, and all 6. All right, now we're going to single crochet 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Hit our button, move our stitch marker. Now I like to flip my work inside out. Inside out. You just put your fingers in those little bobble stitches and they pop right out where they need to go. All right, tuck our little tail inside. Now for rows 5 through 7, we're going to do 24 single crochet, 3 rows of 24 single crochet. I'm just getting some more of my yarn out of my yarn skein. I should have wound it in a ball before I started. All right, here we go. 3 rows of 24. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Hit your button. Moving on to row 6, another round of 24 single crochet. Here we go. Whoop, make sure I got in the right stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Hit that button. Move it over. One more round. Round 7. Round of 24. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Hit your button, move your stitch marker. All right, just getting a little bit more yarn. This is what it should be looking like. It's going to have two little feet at the front, and it looks kind of like a little bowl at this point. Now we're going to go into row 8, and we're going to single crochet 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to bobble stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, one more, 5, pull through all 6. Now we're going to single crochet 5. Single crochet 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to bobble again. I'm just going to pull a little bit more yarn out. I apologize. I should have done something different with my yarn before I got started. All right. Here we go. Bobble stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull through all. Now we're going to single crochet 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Hit our button, move our stitch marker. Now we're going to single crochet 24 for round 9. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Hit your button. Move your stitch marker. Now we're going to single crochet decrease. You can use a regular decrease or an irregular decrease. It doesn't matter, whichever one you prefer. I use the irregular. 1, we'll have 16 stitches total. Decrease 2, single crochet 3, decrease 4, single crochet 5, decrease 6, single crochet 7, decrease 8, single crochet 9, decrease 10, single crochet 11, decrease 12, single crochet 13, decrease 14, single crochet 15, decrease 16. Hit your button, move your stitch marker. Now we're going to decrease a total of 8. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Hit your button, move your stitch marker. Now we're going to chain 1 and we're going to cut a longer size tail and we're going to pull it through. Take off your stitch marker, pull it nice and taut. All right, and now we're ready to stuff. Okay. Now we're just going to grab some stuffing, or fluff it up, and we're going to put it right in this little hole. And I know I didn't give you a lot of room, but I promise it's enough. You can get all that you need done in that hole. Here we go. Get some more. Oops. You're just going to kind of feel around as you do it so that you can stuff evenly. So make sure you're stuffing evenly. We don't want to overstuff our little froggy. So make sure you're not just putting too much in there either. You don't want him to be hard. You want him to still have good squish. And he does. Okay. Now we're going to get our yarn needle. We're going to thread it on here. All right. Now we're going to go in the next stitch and out the next stitch. And we're going to do that all the way around. In and out. 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 All right, and now we're just going to pull that and it should come right nice and close. See how that did? Now we're just going to go through a couple times. Okay. Now we're going to kind of make a smaller one. And we're going to come back up through the loop and pull it so we have a nice little knot there. And now that we have a knot, we can come back through and find a place anywhere and hide our tail. Get a good squeeze. I like to hide my tails with my scissors. You can use your crochet hook or whatever you want to do, whatever works best for you, but hide those tails. Hide that tail. All right. All right. Next, we're going to move on to the eyes. Here's what we've got so far. You've got 4 little feet, and he kind of looks like a ball. We're going to go back to the front of our froggy. We're going to go back to our yarn. We're going to find our 3rd row. So right here is your center. That's going to be 1, 2, and 3. Right here, your 3rd little ring. And we're going to count 4 spaces up from your leg. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to put our crochet hook right in there like so. All right. Now, let me do that again real quick so I'll make sure you guys saw good what I was doing. Row 1, 2, and 3. Come down to the foot. Count 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going right into that next stitch. We're going into that 5th one. Did you catch that? So there should be 4 stitches right here between the foot and where you went in at. All right. Now we're going to cast on to our frog. We're going to loop over, pull it through, and chain 1. Okay. Now we're going to do 2 double crochets. So yarn over. Go into that next one. 1, 2. Okay, now we're going to do another double crochet. Pull it through. 1, 2. Now we're going to do a single crochet. 1, single crochet. We're going to turn our work and we're going to do 2 single crochets. 1, go into that next stitch. 2, try and keep my fingers out of the way. And now we're going to go into this last one down here and we're going to slip stitch. Slip stitch right in there. Chain 1 so that you have a way to secure it. And just cut your yarn and pull it through. Okay? So you should have a little eyeball started right there. Okay? Now we're going to take our tail and we're going to come right down through the bottom here. So we're going to go through this little stitch right here so that we pull it. See how we just brought our tail to the back of the eye? There's not a right or wrong way to do that. Now we're going to go behind the eye and we're just going to pull it up through the back like so. Now we're going to grab our other tail and we're just going to go in anywhere that's right here in close proximity and we're going to bring it up through that same hole that we just worked out of. Okay. And we're going to tie a knot. Knots are important. They keep your work from coming apart later in life. If you don't tie a knot, your work will hold up for a little while. But one day, somebody will be playing with this little toy, and the eyeball will start to get loose, and then it will come off. So you want to just always, always, always use knots for all of your work. It's the way that we finish it off so that it's secure. You want to secure your work. All right, so one little eyeball is on there right now. Now we're going to go over about 1 stitch, and we're just going to repeat what we just did. Or if you want, you can come over here and count at 4 and go in the 5th stitch. Either way, whatever works best for you. I find it easier to count it over by just skipping a stitch and going in. But you can do it either way. It works out the same. All right, so we're casting on. Chain 1. Do 2 double crochet. Here's 1. Next double crochet. 2. And now we're going to single crochet. Turn your work. We're going to single crochet 2. 1, 2, and slip stitch into this last one. Chain 1 and cut your tail. Pull it. Now you have a second little eyeball there. Second eyeball. All right. We're going to do the same thing we did the last time. We're going to go through that stitch just so that we've, you know, got it secured there. We're going to come down and we're just going to bring it up randomly into the back. Next, we're going to grab this one. And we're going to do the same thing. We want to bring it up through the same hole. Okay, tie a knot. All right, now let's hide those tails. All right. Whoop. Send them flying. All right, so you should have two little eyeballs now. You'll notice that they're already kind of like caving in to where you can put like your little thumbs inside there. See that? All right. Now we're going to grab some black yarn. Let me grab it from up here maybe. Got a couple different areas of black yarn here with me. Okay. We're gonna okay. So you're gonna see this round area right here. Picture if you're gonna put your needle like through it like so. You're gonna go into this stitch right here. Okay. And we're gonna come up at the very, very bottom of this eye. Okay. And we're going to leave a tail. Leave a little bit of a tail. Okay, now you're just going to go into the top of the eye. And you're going to do this 5 times. So that's 1 through the bottom, out the top, 2. Let me move this before I lose it. Out the bottom, or in the bottom rather. Out the top, that's going to be 3. Okay, next one. 4, and I like to kind of direct it. And you're not going to want to pull it too tight either. Don't pull it so tight that it changes the shape of your eyeball. Okay, one last time. Kind of guide it where you want it so you have a nice round eye. Okay, got a nice little round eyeball there. Now we're going to go into the back of the frog, okay? And we're going to come over out the bottom of this eye. Okay. See how we did that? We're out the bottom of this eye. We're going to do the same thing. 5 round little stitches. So 1, see that 1 in the bottom, out the top, going through the same stitch, 2 in the bottom, at the top, 3 in the bottom, out the top, kind of shape it so that like guide your yarn so it goes to the outside of the eyeball where you want it so it's more rounded. In the bottom. Okay, and out the top. Kind of guide your yarn where you need it, where you want it, so that it works around to make a little circle. Okay. Now we're going to go into the back of the eye again. And this time we're going to come out on the side over here where we decided that it would be if we put that needle straight through. Remember, I showed a demonstration over here of putting needle straight through. So now we're going to come out right there. Okay. Now we're going to go in the hole that this thing is on. Okay. And I like to hold it with my finger if there's enough to do it so it stays out of my way. And I'm going to run my needle like so. Are you with me? Right down the center, right here. And as I pull it up, I'm going to pull it up and this loop is still going to be here. See what I'm doing? I want that loop to come and get caught by this. See how I did that? I'm going to go just under the yarn that I just pulled. And I'm going to come back up out that same hole where I started. Look at that. Woo! All right. Now, I'm going to cut this. And I'm going to tie a knot. And now, I'm going to hide those tails right in the corner of this mouth. Right down into the corner. Careful if you're using scissors not to accidentally cut any fibers or you have to start all over and you will be sad. All right, so now our frog's starting to look like a froggy, but he's not done yet. Now we need to go back to our green yarn. Let me find the end of my green yarn over here. Okay, and we're going to go just behind the eyeball. Just behind him. And we're going to cast on. I like to do it right at the corner. Cast on. Chain 1. And we're going to double crochet 2. 1. And then 2. Chain 1. Leave a long tail, and cut your tail, okay? So now you got a little flap here, and you'll notice that it lines up with your eye, but it doesn't do the whole shape of the eye, right? It's not the same size, it's not the same, that's how you want it. I know it looks funny right now, but if it doesn't match up, that is exactly how you want it. Because this is going to shape and round your eye, okay? So we're gonna put a needle on the outside, the longest tail, and we're gonna work our tail in through it. So we're just gonna go into the next stitch on the back and come back up through the stitch on the bottom. And when we come through that stitch on the bottom, we're gonna catch the bottom of our eye. Let's just pull that through. And then we're going to go right back into that same stitch. And we're just going to sew that in. Okay? Now we're going to kind of whip stitch it here. We're going to go into that next stitch. And pull it into your next stitch. And you'll feel if you have resistance, you're not in it. You want to go into the stitches. It's important that you're in the stitches. In through the stitches. Just go all the way around. Okay, when you get over here, do one more. Okay. Now just go in anywhere and pull it out through the back, just like so. We're going to cut our tail down just a little bit because we got a little bit more tail than we want. And we're going to do the same thing we did earlier. We're just going to get that smaller tail and we're going to bring it up through that same hole so that we can tie a knot. Okay. Now we're going to hide those tails. Okay, and now you'll see that the back of your eye, see how this one, you can still see the stitches from the, where we put the eye in? You can't see them anymore on the back. And you've got a nice rounded eye. See how this one's just kind of flimsy, floozy? But this one, it looks like a completed eye. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other eye. We're going to go just behind the eye. You're going into the row 4 there, and you're just going to cast on. We're going to do 2 double crochets. 1, 2. Okay, next double crochet. Okay, then you're going to chain 1 and leave a nice long tail so that you can sew with it. Okay, put this on our tail. You see we got that long flat back there. Okay, we're going to go into that first stitch. We're working our tail down from the top of the back piece so that we have something to work with here. And as we come through that bottom one, we're just going to pop it like so. All right, now go around and run it through. Okay, now we're going to whip stitch it all the way around. Go in through your next stitch and out. And through your next one and out. Make sure you don't sew your smaller tail in there. And one more. Okay. Now we're just going to go in. Oops. In. Come out the back, just like so. Cut that tail a little bit because we don't need that much. If you're really good, you can possibly eyeball it and know how much tail to have so you don't have to cut it. All right, now just go in and out. Whoops, I caught more than I wanted to. All right, there we go. Now we're going to tie a knot. And we're going to pull off the fuzzies. And we're going to just hide those tails. Hide those tails. All right. And that's it. You just did your little pocket frog. Isn't he cute? He's so cute. He's so cute. Look at those eyeballs. You can kind of pinch them and shape them a little bit more if you want to, but they should be right how you need them. All right. There's your little wonky frog. And I hope you enjoyed crocheting with me today. Thank you so much for crocheting with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.